Greetings, greetings. How are you? It's Day, the Divine Mind, here with another Ancestors Speak message. So I was doing some work with my ancestors today. I do have an ancestor altar, and for those of you who don't have an ancestor altar, but who want to connect with your elevated and honorable ancestors, I truly suggest that you pick up or take up this practice, right? That you set up an altar and sit and use it to commune with your ancestors from time to time. That's what I was doing today. They requested something specific and I made sure I gave it to them. All right, so while I was doing that today, I heard the words, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper." And that's Isaiah 54:17 in the Bible, right? And all of my ancestors that have gone on, those that I've known in this lifetime, were Christians. So it didn't surprise me or shock me that I heard this Bible verse, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper." So what came to me for this reading is, in the days to come, it would be really helpful for you to repeat those words, occasionally throughout the day. Some of you have the gift of speaking power and speaking life, right? In the Yoruba tradition, we call it having ashe, right? You have ashe on your tongue, you have power. So for some of you, simply speaking those words are going to help your situation, can even help your community. I'm hearing there's something about uttering that consistently that can help you. For others of you, if you feel like you are truly under spiritual attack, you can write those words in permanent marker on a 7-day candle. Pray to your ancestors, let that candle burn down as a way to burn away all of that energetic heaviness, the energetic burdens and any spiritual attack that may be lingering around you, okay? So that's what we're going to talk about today. I want to find out, what is the weapon, all right? If you're interested in a personal reading, I have ancestor readings available on my website, as well as a decks, right? Oracle decks, ebooks, online trainings, all of that, daydreamaustin.com. For some of you, I was picking up that there's something generational that needs to be broken, right? So people would call it like a generational curse, but there's like some type of generational binding, something that has bound people in your bloodline that your ancestors are seriously ready to see broken. They want to see you free. They want to see their other descendants that remain here free. So there's some work that needs to be done. We have the awakening card, Yemoja, coming out, which is the ruler of the Ogun River in Yoruba land. Here, she's said to own the surface of the seas. This is the Great Mother energy. Yeah, there's a need to, I'm really seeing this energy of like explosion. Think of the rising sun. It goes from dark, the sun begins to peak up out over the horizon, and it brings a little light, and then suddenly, bow, it's just there, right? When it's not a cloudy day. That's what the ancestors want for you. There's a need for some type of awakening energy. Like there has been a holding back, a limitation, and a bondage. And it's not all your fault. Like I said, this is something that has been generational. People are not living life as fully as they should be, your ancestors are saying. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. For some of you, the weapon is work, toil, labor, with this Ten of Wands coming out. You're working too hard, right? And not even working on things that you enjoy. You spend your life focused on how to pay the bills, You know, all of the different stressors of life. There's very little fun, enjoyment, celebration, right? Like to look at the awakening card where there's just all this joy and energy with the dolphins in the background. And then the Ten of Wands here, it shows like the polarity of life. How sometimes there's such a focus on things that are so harsh and hard and heavy, and not enough focus on the things that bring us great joy. Playfulness, loosening up, lightening up, lighten up. Stop carrying the burdens, the heavy load of things that have happened in the past. For some of you also, the weapon is barrenness. Things are barren and dry and dull. It's like a desert. And your ancestors want you to live a lush, full life. And that doesn't always mean like traveling the world and doing all this fancy shit. What is a lush life for you? What does that look like? Is it getting outside and walking every day? Is it having a good, small group of close friends? Is it going to parties? Is it fashion? Just dressing nicely? What is it for you? It's time to pour into yourself. For some of you, the weapon is that you do not pour into yourself. So again, like I was saying, this is generational. And it doesn't have to be something where this was put on you by someone else. This could be something where you've watched this transpire in your family and you're emulating something you've seen, and it's not a good thing to emulate. Pouring into your own garden. Judgment on the bottom of the deck. Follow your intuition on the bottom of this other deck. No weapon. For some of you, the weapon is ignoring your intuition, not making time to connect with your spiritual court, not making time to connect with your ancestors. There are lessons there for you. There is support there for you, right? There's information that's very helpful. Some of you are not spending enough time paying attention to these things, to your spiritual life. Okay, it's time to go within for someone here so that you may truly align with your destined path. As I say that, pathway comes out, creation story. Yeah, this is crazy, y'all. I just said, think of the sun, right? And it rising. And in this pathway card, there's a road that goes directly to the sun just shining. It's time to be bold, outspoken, and to shine your light for some of you. And I got this before I started the reading. There's someone here who you are meant to be a celebrity or someone on the main stage in the public eye. And there is an enemy in the spirit, maybe manifesting in the physical, who's trying to block you from shining. Your shine is going to illuminate things for people that's going to help them awaken. That's going to help them become unbound, be freed. And the weapon is hardship. The weapon is toil. The weapon is poverty, financial struggle. The weapon is depression, sadness. The divine wants you to know that there's a pathway to awakening that's opening for you. For some of you, it starts with you tapping into the joy within, focusing on your third chakra. Well, your second and your third chakras. That's where I find that energy really resides. Like that excitement, that enthusiasm for life, right? Self-love, self-appreciation. Really working on bringing that energy from the root chakra up into the second and third chakra. can bring that energy from your heart space down into the second and third chakras as well. But it's time for a shift. My crown chakra is like very lit up right now. It's time for a shift. The pathway is open. The weapon is this system, right? There's a system that we've been born into that doesn't make it easy for us to thrive. But your ancestors are saying, buck the system. You can do more for yourself. You can do more to align with this pathway to awakening. For some of you, this is through meditation, meditative practices, being out in nature, working with the moon phases, gathering with other people. I'm seeing groups of women here specifically. Those are all things that can help you. Now, I'm also seeing the weapon with the coffin card coming out. There has been this energy of premature death being sent at people, right? For some of you, there's a woman in a privileged position, a high position that has been sending premature death to you, but she's going to pass. She thinks her money protects her from everything, and it doesn't. I feel like we're going to see more privileged people taking their leave this year. They may be transitioning, leaving the earth. For some of them, they thought that their money was enough. You know, just like I was saying, some of you are too focused on just the physical, the material aspects of life and are not paying to the spiritual. These people are in the same boat, but for some reason they thought the money was going to keep everything away from them. And the divine says it doesn't work like that. For some of you, the weapons don't matter if you continue to work on strengthening your intuition, right? Because what will happen is you'll get a whiff, you'll get a sense that something isn't right. You'll go into meditation, you'll go into prayer, you'll sit with your ancestors, you'll do the work to keep those things at bay. Okay? No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Put in a spiritual request. Some of you are your clairvoyance is going to pick up. You'll start having visions. So for some of you, this is going to be in dreams. And for others of you, this is going to be while you're wide awake, okay? Visions are coming in. It's time to plant the seeds to walk into a new life, a life that's more fitting of who you truly are at your core. And what I'm feeling very strongly is that someone here has been thinking about that. Like you sit and you imagine what the ideal life would look like for you, and your ancestors like that. They like that you do that. Some of them, they give you ideas for your ideal life. Now they're saying move from just thinking about it to planting seeds, setting the intention, doing little things that can help you get there over time. Because you have good juju with you, with Marie Laveau here. For some of you, you have heavy juju workers in your bloodline. You may not know that because, like me, you may have, ancestors who've lived in this current incarnation who are mostly Christian. Maybe they don't do all of that. But beyond them, right, when you go back some generations, there's heavy juju workers. Some of them were doing light magic. Some of them were doing dark magic. For some of you, there's a connection to New Orleans. But there's good juju that's going to help the intentions that you set really grow. But remember, it says seed planter. This is the seed being planted. Seeds don't grow up, sprout up overnight. This is not Jack and the Beanstalk. It takes time. You got the patience card here. For some of you, This used to be me, and then I got my ass handed to me by the divine. For some of you, the weapon is impatience. You don't wait long enough to see the fruits of your labor. You're already moving on to the next thing. Be patient. Allow something to grow up over time and develop over time, okay? No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Remember, I was saying some of you really need to do, focus on self-love, self-respect, self-care. There's something where, and we saw this in the last Ancestor Speak reading, the way you treat yourself is the weapon. You are your own enemy in some cases. Some of you need to relax and play and lighten up and rest and just be at ease. That's really going to help you right now. For some of you, I see you walking into a stressful situation. Your ancestors are with you. They say it's really good for you to cleanse and protect yourself. So whatever your cleansing tools are, make sure to do that. Protecting yourself, doing what is helpful for you. Protecting yourself could be you staying away from toxic people, right? Staying out of environments that are no good for you. It's time for you really to tend to yourself and your wellness with the Nine of Pentacles here. Like, what can you just take a moment to yourself? Can you step away and focus on yourself? For some of you, the weapon is old hurt, past hurts. There's something that doesn't want you to get over the trauma from the past, because then you enter into that awakened state. If you're consistently stuck in the hurt and the trauma of the past, that's good because it keeps you off your destined path. It keeps you from being the star, from being that shining, guiding light for others. It just keeps you in a very low state, right? But if we're saying no weapon formed against us shall prosper, then your own hurt, don't allow that to be a weapon that stops you from progressing in life. Keep seeing something here about relationships. Be mindful of the people that you align with, right? Yeah, you have options, right? We all have options of who we entertain and don't entertain. For some of you, you could be inviting a weapon into your life, inviting someone that's harmful into your life. But then for others of you, there's someone coming in that's a really good fit for you after a lot of disappointment in the past. This person comes in and it's like the death, the ending of all of this hardship associated with relationship. It's not going to be absolutely perfect because nothing on earth is. But make sure you're making the right choice, okay? Make sure you're walking down the path that is truly aligned with who you are. So if you're someone who's big on integrity, on good character, but then you align yourself with someone who doesn't give a damn about those things, that's the enemy. In that case, you're the enemy, right? You're the weapon. Or you allow that person to be the weapon, but you are complicit in it because you agree with it. Yeah, and then the self-sabotage card comes out. In this self-sabotage card, there's this woman that looks like she's coming out of a snake's skin, right? It's time to shed old habits, beliefs, practices, behaviors that are just not serving you. Because they really stop you from being the person that you are meant to be, right? Yeah, destiny on the bottom of the deck. It's just too much. It's too heavy. It's too limiting. It's sabotaging. You are supposed to be doing more. And that doesn't mean working harder, but you are supposed to be doing more in alignment with your greatest destiny, your highest destiny. You are meant to shine. You are meant to thrive. You are meant to be playful, joy-filled, lively, uplifted, encouraged, not discouraged. Okay? I'll show you the last card out. Drum medicine regulation. For some of you, the weapon, and this definitely comes from our society, is the dysregulation of your nervous system. There are so many things here. Go watch the news. Go scroll through. I was telling somebody that sometimes I'll scroll through social media and I feel like upset afterwards, and I really have to think about why. I have to pinpoint what was it. And then as an empath, it might not even be something violent, right, or sad that you watch, but you might look at someone and pick up on the nastiness, the heaviness within them, and then you're feeling it. So with drum medicine here, you're being encouraged to really focus on the regulation of your nervous system. For some of you, there's too much angst, worry, fearfulness, and things like that, right? Your nervous system is too wound, and that's the weapon. But your ancestors have said, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. I want you to repeat those words again and again in the coming days, weeks, however long you need to. Some of you write it on a candle. Sit with your ancestors and ask them what that means for you. They will respond. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope this has been helpful. Ashe. Bye, y'all.